Healthy eating for PMS families. That's why we're all here tonight, because we have children who have Phelan-McDermid syndrome, and we love them, and we want to take care of them, and we want to do our best. Before we get started, though, I just wanted to introduce myself. Some of you I haven't met before. My name is Chardell Buchanan. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, have been for a very long time. I stopped working when Ben was little because, as you all know, the diagnosis can be overwhelming, right? When you first get your kid's diagnosis and you're not sleeping, it's kind of hard to still focus and do work. So I took a quick break. I'm back. And I have focused a lot recently on helping Benjamin, helping kids like Benjamin, helping kids with autism and PMS. So that's why we're here tonight, because I want to tell you what I learned, and I know it will help your family. So Benjamin is my son. You've probably met him. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen pictures of him. He's a sweetheart. He's the sweetest. Just love him so much. So here we go. Tonight, we're going to be covering these items, and I'm going to try to move through it pretty quickly so that we can have some time at the end if you have any questions. But here's the plan, because I hate it when you show up to something and they don't tell you how long it's actually going to be, and then you're like, is she going to wrap this up? I plan it to be about an hour. So hopefully that works for you. If it doesn't and you have to cut out early, totally fine. Don't worry about it, okay? There's no pressure here. I love seeing all your faces. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I teach early morning Bible study. The kids, it's just for the youth. They never turn on the cameras. I mean, it is 5:30 in the morning, but they never turn on the cameras. Somebody was like, are you there? Hello? Anyway, it's so nice to see your faces. This is what we're going to cover tonight. It's the same thing I've been teasing since the very beginning. We're going to talk about starting small with healthy eating. We're going to move on to healthy choices you can start making right now. Hey, we have a friend. Hi, so nice to see you. I think I know you. My cursor's not working.
Olivia says hi.
Olivia, yes. Hi, Olivia. So nice to see you, friends. I love it. Okay, sorry, back to this. We're also going to cover the foods that are good for your child, and we're going to talk about how to plan a healthy meal that fast using the plate method. You're going to love it because it applies to everything. Oh, tonight, I just want to make a quick mention. Our moderator in the comments, her name is Carmen. She is going to be helping us out there. So yep, there she is. Hi, Carmen. She's going to be helping us out in the comments. So if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat box. She'll flag them, and at the end, I can answer them. And if it's something that pertains to what we're talking about in that moment, she'll alert me so that I know, and we can get it answered for you, okay? And then, yeah, we're just going to go ahead from there. So here we go. I sent out, well, I talked to quite a few of you when we first started talking about this class and what we were going to be covering. And I said, what's keeping you from healthy eating? And so many of you responded. Guess what the top responses were? I bet you can pick. I'm exhausted, I have no time, and I don't know what to do. Those were like the top three, right? But all of these responses here are things that people said, things that probably you said, right? I tried to keep them anonymous, but we're feeling that frustration. We're all feeling the frustration with eating healthy because we really want to eat healthy. We want to be healthy for our kids. We want to be healthy for ourselves, to take care of our kids long-term. And it can get frustrating because there's so much going on. It's confusing out there, but we're going to clear all of that up tonight. Because if you've listened to me before or seen anything that I've posted, you know I'm a firm believer in planning meals. Here's why. When you have meals planned and you know they're healthy, look at all it can do for you. You can feel confident around nutrition. You know you're feeding your child well. You know you're feeding yourself well. You have energy. You have energy to advocate for your child. You have energy to show up, to be the mom or the dad that you want to be. And you can ensure that you're healthy and strong long-term. None of us know how long this is going on, right? For PMS kids, we know we're in this for the long haul, as long as it's going to take to get our child to either be independent, to get them to be healthy, to do whatever we have to do, but we're in this for the long haul. This is not some sprint. This is a marathon, right? And we know we have to take care of ourselves to be there for the marathon. So what does this look like? I want to just, in case you're wondering, like, what does being healthy look like? It means we're going to change small things. You have so much that you're already handling. I mean, we could make a list, right? And it would go on and on and on of all the things that you are handling as a mother or father of a PMS child. It is incredible, the amount that you handle. And I bet if you're like me, sometimes it makes me dizzy. I don't even like to think about it or look at how much I'm handling, because then I'll get overwhelmed, right? We just focus on what's next. That's why when we're talking about healthy eating, we're just going to focus on one small thing. We're starting small. In this picture, the gentleman's holding a hamburger. I'm not going to tell you can't eat hamburgers. That's not what healthy is. But I'm going to tell you to change one small thing. Maybe you make a healthy choice and you choose, like he did, a whole grain bun instead of a white bun. That's one small thing. Okay, we're going to start out real small. It looks like increasing the foods that your child will eat. How many of your children have very limited amounts of food that they're going to eat? They're real picky. Does that happen to you? That used to be Ben as a little boy. Oh my goodness, that was Ben. This looks like having dinner plans. So when you come home from work, you already know what you're having. You're not stressed. When you leave that doctor's appointment and it's late at night, you're like, guess what? It's fine because I already know dinner's handled. So that's a really great feeling, that freedom. And knowing that you can make a healthy choice. Even if you have to go through the drive-through, you can make it healthy. There's a way to make it healthy. And then my favorite one is just quickly using that plate method to check off and make sure your meal is going to feed you some good food and be nutritious, because guess what? It's a really easy tool that you can visualize in your head. You don't have to have anything fancy to do it. And it can ensure that what you're eating is healthy. This can work for you. Don't feel skeptics, okay? No skeptics. This is going to work, okay? My friend Jessica, she's been working with me for a while now. Her son has a lot of sensory challenges. He is autistic, and he has a lot of sensory challenges around food, and she has been struggling with how to feed him. And one of her biggest struggles is her kids don't eat together at the same time. She just wants them to eat a meal together. We're not even touching that he has so many foods that he won't eat, right, because of preferences and sensory issues. But that was her main goal, is just to get them to eat together. Guess what? She sent me this message saying, my kids ate together for dinner tonight. That's a huge success. That can be life-changing, right? Jen was trying to get her kids to eat healthy, and she just didn't know where to start. She didn't know what to do to make it healthy. She had grown up with a lot of rules around food, and so she had some thinking about what was healthy and what should I give my kids and what should I restrict. And so using the tools that I gave her and the tips, she said now it's just effortless. She can just quickly make a meal and she knows it's healthy. And Megan, down here on the bottom, Megan was struggling. She had a child who had a lot of issues, who needed a lot of help, and she felt like she didn't know what to do or who to turn to. And as we started working together and she understood that I had a child, it's very similar to hers, that had a lot of issues, she was like, this is what I need. I'm so tired of going to doctors who I have to explain everything to, doctors who don't know what's going on, specialists who don't know, therapists who don't know, and to come and talk to me and I say to her, yes, I know exactly what's going on and here's what you're going to do. She said, that's what I needed. I needed somebody who understood me. So this can work for you. I'm a mama just like you. I totally get it. Here's what's going to happen tonight. I just want to give you the lay down so you know what to expect. We're going to talk about what's healthy, and it may surprise you, okay? I'm going to challenge your beliefs. I'm going to make everything real simple because you don't have time. You don't have time to be wading through this stuff. I went to school for 7 years to learn this. I know it. I'm going to make it super simple for you, okay? That's my job. I probably will get a little bit fired up and excited. As you saw from the beginning, I can't help it. It just oozes out. So be ready because that will happen. I'm going to help you make decisions about what to feed your family that aligns with your goals. This is your child. These are your health goals, and I'm just here to support you, okay? My goal is to help you succeed to meet your goals. And at the end, I'm probably going to make an offer to work together in a couple of ways. So just so you know that's coming. So what's your reason for being here tonight? If you feel brave, would you put it in the chat box? I want to know, why are you here? Is it for you? Is it for your child? Do you want to be healthier? Did you just get diagnosed with prediabetes? I mean, you don't have to share any sensitive information, please. We are a family, though. I was just going to say, if you're seeing people here that you haven't met before, guess what? You're my friend now. Everyone here is now your family. This is how it works in the PMS world. We are a family. So this is a safe space. We all love each other here and support one another. So if you want to just think about, like, what's your reason for being here? Are you looking for direction? Are you lost? Your kids are picky. Yeah, you're bored of making the same thing over and over. Totally get it. Totally get it. Sometimes we just do that because it's easy, right? And we're tired, exhausted. So as you're thinking about why you're here tonight, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your child, oh, very good. In a rut. Yeah. Yes. Because you're a good mom. That's why you're here, right? You want to help your kid. That's why you're here. I want you to lean on that throughout this, our time together tonight. Just lean into that and think, yes, you want to help your child increase variety. Yes, you want to help your child thrive. You want to give them good nutrition, right? That's what you want to do. You want to really help them because you're good parents. That's why you're here tonight. So think about that as we go throughout the rest of the class. Yes, GI issues, we will talk about that. Okay, this is the first thing though. We're going to talk about starting small because like I said before, this is the step that's really important. I'm not throwing anything big at you because I've been there. This is when it changed for me. We were brand new diagnosed. Ben was less than 3 years old. And you know how it is, right? Right after diagnosis, when you're like, my child is in a health crisis. What does this mean? And you're going to specialists, you're going to therapists, you're going to all sorts of surgeons and doctors, and you really have no idea what's going on. You've read through the PMSF website, but you're overwhelmed, right? You don't know anybody else who has this diagnosis, and you feel isolated and alone, and you're overwhelmed. So that's where I was. You know that. You know what that feels like because you've been there too, right? I'm not alone. That's where I was. And we had an appointment at Shriners. It's over an hour from my house. And we had stacked the appointments. If you've been to Shriners before, you know it's a great hospital, but they stack your appointments so you can just go one day, get it all done. And this is my first time going. I had Ben and I had his older sister. She was 5, Ben was less than 3, so they were both really little. And the appointment in the morning, we get there, go through the appointment, and now it's lunchtime and they're hungry. I'm like, this is okay. It's great. There's a cafeteria there. We'll go and eat. And you walk in and it's a huge cafeteria, right? Because it's a hospital. And at the end of the room, there's a big wall with 2 arched doorways. So I can't see the menu because I have to go through the doorway to see the menu. Go through the doorway. I've got Ben in a hand because you know you don't let go of your child, right? They'll elope and then they'll come back. So I've got Ben in one hand. I've got Anna in the other. And I'm looking at the menu and I think, oh boy. Okay, there's lots of children's choices here. The kids are going to be happy. I'll just get them at the kids' food. But what about me? What am I going to eat? How am I going to eat? I got to feed Ben. My little one needs help. I got to carry the tray. I can't do all of this. Plus, I had just been to the orthopedic surgeon, which was overwhelming. And I thought, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to drink a Coke. I'm going to eat some of their fries. That'll be good enough. So sure, we get our tray. We slide down. We get our food. I help Ben eat, drink my Coke. We're done. We go to the next appointment. So we spend the rest of the day there because the next appointment was PT, and that's intense. They're doing an intake, they're doing x-rays, all sorts of things, right? We finally get done. We're driving home, and I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. I'm overwhelmed from all the information I just took in from them, and now I have to go home and make dinner. I don't know what to make. My husband's not home. He's still at work. I got to dirty the dishes. I got to dirty the kitchen. I got to feed these little kids and then clean it all up and then get them to bed. Like, I just can't do it. So we went through the drive-through. Forget it. I'm doing the drive-through, right? And I got them drive-through food, which was basically what they had for lunch. And we go home and we eat. And by that time, I was grumpy. I was kind of short with my kids. I didn't want to be. It's not the mom I wanted to be, but I was exhausted. I was worn out. I was overwhelmed. And that's when I realized, you know what, Chardell? You can do better than this. You're a dietitian. You know how important it is to eat well. You're not eating well. You're not taking care of yourself. Coke and fries is not nutritious food for lunch. I mean, maybe, yes, you have to do it once. I had to do it once, maybe more than once, but that's not the way it should be all the time, right? I wanted good nutrition. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to be a good mom and not be tired and exhausted. So I decided to make a change, and I started small. The first thing I did is I said, I'm just going to write down what we're having for dinner tomorrow so this doesn't happen again. I'm just going to write it down. And then I planned a couple more days. And I didn't even worry about making it healthy. I just wrote it down so that I knew what we were going to have for dinner. And then after a few days of doing that, I started to feel like, you know what? I'm going to be okay. What if I made this a little bit healthier? What if I added in some more vegetables? I can do this, right? And I started making our meals healthier. Pretty soon I'm feeling better. My kids are feeling better. I'm able to go to those appointments and be a good mom and be a good advocate for my child. So that's when it changed for me, is when I realized I had to put my health and my priority first, and I made a commitment to that for myself and my family. That's when it all changed for me. Now I use those same tools over and over to plan meals for our family that are stress-free, that I know are healthy. And if there's a time when we're on vacation or I get in a rut or I stop for a little bit, guess what? I go back to these same tools. I use them again and again, and they work. It totally works. It's true. I'm telling you, these are what I've used in my own life to increase my health, to increase Ben's health. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But just using the same tools over and over, starting small and building on that, that's how you succeed. So I want to talk a little bit more about Jen. Jen was really struggling with how to plan healthy meals for her family. She decided to make a commitment to herself, just like I did that day. And she said, I am putting my health first. I want to be a better mom. I want to be a better model for my kids. Remember, I told you she had some restrictive things growing up in her family that she felt like she wanted to work through. So she made a commitment to the journey, and she started small, and all she did was plan dinners for the weekdays. She said, I just want to know we're having dinner for the weekdays. I'm not worried about anything else, just dinner for the weekdays. So we worked on that, and after a while, she felt really confident. So then she started working on making them healthier. And her first choice, she's decided to add in more whole grains. This is something we're going to talk about in just a minute. And she struggled at first to find whole grain options, but she was committed to it. And when she committed to it, guess what? She found solutions. And pretty soon she was feeling better. Her GI issues resolved. She was feeling more energized. And we worked on her mindset. We worked around that restrictive, I can't do this, or I can't have this food, or I can't feed my kids that food. And we kind of worked on the mindset piece. And now she's free from that. Now she has let go of the guilt. She feels confident feeding her family. They all have more energy and they feel better. And her kids know how to plan a healthy meal and a healthy snack, which has been totally changing for their family. So here's the lesson from my story, from Jen's story, is you're going to commit, right? When you commit to this journey, then you can make real change. That's why you're here tonight. You want to learn how to be healthier. You want to learn how to be healthier for you, for your child. So you commit to that journey. You're really close. You're closer than you think. It's just one small thing. It's not down the road. You can have it right now. So I want you to really commit to that, okay? Commit to being healthy. Commit to making those healthy choices. Commit to starting where you are, right where you are today, and starting small, and watch what happens. So if you can commit, I want you to put in the chat box, I'm in. Type, I'm in. I want to hear it from you. Are you committed to this? Can you do this for yourself, for your kids, for your child with PMS? You're in. I knew it. I know you're in. This is so great. Okay. I love this. You're all making me super happy. You can do this. So here's the healthy choices you can start making right now. You can pick one of these to start with. Oh, I didn't tell you. I want you to fill that blank in. What is healthy eating to you? Can you finish that sentence? Healthy eating is what? You can put it in the chat box. And I'm not going to feed you any lines because I want to see what you say. Healthy eating is, or eating healthy. I'm transposing the words. Ooh, variety. I like that. Balance. Mm-hmm. Okay, processed foods. I'm gonna energy, yes. Eating one thing. Oh, that is a beautiful dream. Is it not? A game changer. Yeah, I like it. Okay. You know what? I think most people, I'll tell you my answer. This is what's changed my life. This thought about healthy eating, and I want it to work for you. So here we go. Healthy eating can be easy, is what I say. Healthy eating is easy. It's effortless when you know what you're doing. When you know how to build a meal, it really can be effortless. It's like second nature. You just say, yep, got it, done. It's healthy. We can go on. Okay. This is the thing that most people come to me for help for. That most people come to me because they feel like healthy eating is hard or difficult, or they don't know how to do it. This is why they join my program, is because they want help with knowing how to eat healthy, having the tools to make it easy. And you're here tonight because you need somebody who understands PMS, who understands what it's like to be a PMS mom, right? You need someone who understands your unique challenges, because not everybody understands what we go through. They don't. People don't know what happens in our lives. And I know because I've been there. We had a big one yesterday that I know you've all had to. We're not going to talk about it right now. Anyway, you need somebody who understands what it's like to be a PMS mom or dad who is pressed with time. You don't have a lot of time to devote to this. You need someone who understands you. And it can be easy when you have the right tools. So here are the choices. I want you to pick one of these to start with today, okay? We're going to talk about them real quick, but whole grains is a healthy choice you can make. Fruits and vegetables, lean protein, and healthy fats. Those are our 4 healthy choices. So when I talk about whole grains, I'm talking about anything that has the complete edible part of the grain, okay? The reason we want these, they have vitamins and minerals, they have protein and healthy fats in them. Plus, they have a lot of fiber. Our kids have GI motility issues, right? They do. And the fiber helps with that. I can tell you this has worked for Ben. It really is very helpful to our kids to have more fiber. So when we're looking at whole grains, what I want you to do is if you pick this as your action step, I want you to go for at least half whole grains anytime you're eating it. And what does that look like? That looks like if you're having pasta for dinner, I want you to take half your pasta that you would make for your family, whatever the amount is, and use half of it whole wheat and half of it white. You can cook it in the same pot. Usually the white pasta takes maybe 2 minutes longer or 3 minutes longer than the whole wheat. You put it in the pot, you let it boil for the 2 minutes, whatever it is, then you throw the whole wheat in and you let it finish cooking. It's all done at the same time. It's very easy. So I want you to mix your whole grains, okay? If you can't go completely 100% whole grains right now, go ahead and mix them, but do half and half, okay? Like I said, they are full of really good nutrition for your child, including that fiber. These are just some examples in case you don't know what whole grains are. That's brown rice. We've got whole grain or multigrain bread, whole wheat pasta, whole grain tortilla chips. Also oats are in there. So whole grains are very important. Fruits and vegetables. Not a lot of people know this because we hear carbs are bad. Fruits and vegetables are carbs. Yes, they are. But they're good for you. They are good carbs for you. Please don't cut these out, okay? If anything, add more in. Fruits and vegetables offer a lot of fiber. They're all packed with vitamins and minerals and water, which is great. So I don't know if you've heard this before, but I want you to think about if this is your goal that you're going to start with, eat the rainbow. Maybe you've heard that before. That's because all fruits and vegetables have vitamins and minerals, but they don't all have the same vitamins and minerals in the same amount. So we want a good variety. So when you're picking fruits and vegetables for your meals, I want you to think colors. Add a lot of different colors in there. Add a lot of different variety. This is exactly what you were talking about. I think it was Reagan who said she wants some more variety in her meals, right? When you go to the grocery store, try something new. Pick out a new fruit and say, let's taste this. Let's see what it's like. We tried dragon fruit the other week, my kids and I. We had never tried it before. It was super fun. And if they say they don't like it, no big deal. But try new things. Use a lot of variety in your fruits and vegetables. Lean proteins. Often when we think about proteins, we think about meat, which is a great source of protein. Don't get me wrong. But there are other sources of protein that can also be very helpful for our kids because they offer other nutrients as well. So proteins are super important. They build, repair, and maintain all body tissues. And especially for growing kids, this is vital. Protein is vital. It's a really great building block for growing kids. So these are just another examples besides meat. When you're thinking of protein, there are beans, nuts, legumes, seeds, milk, and any derivatives, which like a yogurt is a derivative of milk, and eggs. Those are all great sources of protein for your child. For you too. And studies have shown that if you eat protein with your meal, it actually promotes satiety, which is that feeling of being full. So if we're eating protein with our meal, it can help our children to feel those hunger cues. We know our kids sometimes can't feel those cues, right? Our kids have the brain is connected to our gut, and our kids have a hard time with that connection. It goes along with the same thing of the other connections that are made in their brain. It's very difficult for them to tell when they're hungry, when they're full. And so adding in some protein can help to signal the brain. Your child can feel that signal that they're full. It will take time, but remember to add the protein in. It's not only good for promoting growth of cells, but it's also really good for helping them to feel full, which can be difficult. And then they end up trying to eat everything in sight, right? And then healthy fats. Healthy fats are really important for you and for your child. I know you've probably heard before in the media that fats are bad. They are not. There are fats that are very good for you. Fats supply energy for the body. Did you know that all your body cells have fat? They have a layer of fat around the outside of them. The fat that you eat is the fat that your body then uses to make those cell walls. So we want to put good fats in to make good, strong cell walls. We want to put good fats in so that our body is using that to then operate. Healthy fats aid in growth and help with nutrient transport. There are some vitamins and minerals that cannot be absorbed by your body unless fat is present. So we want to make sure that we're adding healthy fats into our child's diet so that they can absorb those nutrients that they need. Okay, those are the 4 things you can start doing right now to be healthier. I feel like I'm throwing stuff at you. Is it okay? You feeling overwhelmed, or do you feel like you can start with one small thing? You feeling okay? Okay, good. I'm seeing nodding heads. Remember, it can be really easy. We're going to start small with just one. I just want you to pick one of those, and whether it's whole grains, you can just start with half. Adding in fruits and vegetables at your meals, choosing lean proteins and healthy fats, just one of those to make a healthy choice, okay? Which one are you going to start with? Tell me in the chat box. Which one are you committing to? Are you doing whole grains, fruits and vegetables, lean protein, or healthy fats? Which one are you going to start with? This is just starting. Nice. Veggies, I love it. Healthy fats, very good. We're going to talk more about that in just a minute. I'm going to give you some specific ones, okay? Whole grains, I love it. That's the one that I feel like changed things for me the best. Whole grains and fiber, yeah, definitely. Whole grains, I love it. I love feeling this commitment. You can start that right away. You can start that with breakfast tomorrow morning. Yes, you can. Oats or a whole grain. Start with oats. Let's go there. Okay. The value in your commitment is not that you told me you're going to do it. The value comes from the commitment that you make to yourself. Okay. I mean, I can hold you accountable, right? But you're going to do that for yourself. And that's where the value comes from, is you saying, I'm important enough. My health is important enough. My child's health is important enough that I'm going to make this one small change. That's where the value comes from. So remember that. When you get up tomorrow morning to make your breakfast, think to yourself, I made that commitment because this is important and I'm going to do it. And follow through. Keep that commitment to yourself. That's where you're really going to get the value out of this. The fun part. Are you ready? This is the fun part. For our kids, guess what? I have to tell you, because I'm an ethical dietitian, I have to be completely upfront with you and let you know that there have not been any studies done to date that I have seen specifically on kids who have Phelan-McDermid syndrome and diet. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about. And that doesn't mean that I haven't seen other studies that we can extrapolate from that work for our kids. It just means the research hasn't been done. And who knows, maybe that's the thing I need to push the foundation to work on next, right? Anyway, I promise this stuff works. So there are no studies done to date. However, there are foods and nutrients that we know for sure have a causation factor that we can build upon, okay? They have been shown with other populations to help with cognition and body regulation, which is the same things that our kids deal with. So based on what we know about Phelan-McDermid syndrome, then we can use foods to nourish them and promote good health, okay? Based on what we know, so what science teaches us. Of course, again, ethical dietitian here, I cannot give you any medical advice over this call, okay? I am a dietitian. I am not your personal dietitian. I am not your medical provider, and I cannot take their place. So, of course, follow the instructions you've been given by your personal medical provider. The suggestions that I offer today are just that. They are just suggestions. And, of course, they do not replace what your medical team has told you to do. However, I think they are worthy of consideration. And you can always check back with me or have your doctor check with me if you have any questions, okay? So here we go. Now we're in it. These are things that are really important for your children. I'm going to give you 5, okay? The 5 most important things for your PMS child. Number 1 is protein. I already talked about this. This is critical for our growing children because our kids are growing and they need good quality protein in order to do that. You can see some ideas up here. So we are talking about variety. When you look at this, all of these proteins are good for our kids. What's something up there that your child currently does not eat or does not eat enough of that you'd be willing to try in their diet? Does your child get a lot of fish? Fish is really high in omega-3s, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but not all kids like fish. Some kids kind of struggle with it. So is that something you want to try again, to reintroduce? Does your kid eat a lot of beans? Beans are great. Beans are a great source of protein and fiber. They are really, really healthy for our children. How often do you add beans into your child's diet? Okay, so hopefully this is giving you some ideas of some variety of some other things you could offer for your child or for meals. Ooh, flaxseed and chia. Okay, flaxseed is a tiny little seed. I'm sure you've seen it before. it has a coating on the outside. The bran is indigestible by human GI tracts. So if you get flaxseed, please make sure it's ground. Grind it on your own or grind it up, buy it already ground. Keep it in the fridge because the fats in it can go rancid. So keep it in the fridge once it's ground. But I put it in pancakes. You can put it in pancakes. You can put it in bread. You can put it in a muffin mix. You can put it in a smoothie. You can sprinkle it on top of a salad dressing. Okay. Flaxseed is really, really good for our kids. Chia seeds. Chia seeds are so easy to add into anything. I would just recommend, please don't eat them dry because they absorb water really quickly. So it could be a choking hazard. If you put that in your child's mouth and then they swallow and then it swells up. So please make sure that they are not just dry sprinkled on things, but you can add them to smoothies. You can add it into oatmeal. You can add it into even sprinkled on top of their cereal and they'll absorb that milk. We even do chia seed pudding, which is kind of fun. If you haven't tried that one before, on my Instagram, I do have a video that teaches you how to do that, but it's really easy. And then you can mix in things like peanut butter or fruit. Anyway, they're really easy to add in. They're inexpensive and they pack a punch for those omega-3s because number 2 thing that I want you to start adding into your child's diet is omega-3s. Now, if you've heard before about kids getting supplements of omega-3s, here's what I want to say across the board, okay? Supplements have a place, but we never start there. Okay, especially not with our kids because our kids have limited ability to communicate with us. They have limited ability to feel what's happening in their own bodies. So we are not going to begin with a supplement with our kids for any of these things, okay, that I recommend. We're going to start with foods. And then if we notice with the foods an improvement, that's awesome. If we notice that they're not absorbing it well enough or we want to try a supplement, then we're going to work with a medical provider and possibly a dietitian to monitor that, okay? We are never going to just give our kids a supplement for our children. It's important that it's medical monitored, okay? You know this, but I just wanted to point it out. Anyway, so omega-3s are very helpful. The American diet, nobody's getting enough omega-3s. I promise. It's something you need to think about, but they're very, very good for brain growth. And our children, we know, have a lower amount of myelination in the brain, which is that insulation that goes around the nerves and helps our brains connect, right? So we want to increase the amount of omega-3s we're giving them to help with brain function, cognition. So again, mostly found in seafood. Walnuts are really easy to add to things too. You can add them to the top of a berry crisp if you are doing a dessert. You can add them into oatmeal. You can even put them on the side of your child's plate as a snack after school. Okay, they can eat them whole. Walnuts are really high in omega-3s, also with the flax seeds and the chia. Okay, ready for the next 3? 2, number 1, protein. Number 2, omega-3s. Number 3, fiber. Again, like I've talked about, our kids have low motility in their GI tract. So we want to make sure that we're giving them enough fiber that it's pushing that food through. There are 2 types of fiber. Please don't get too focused on that. We're not going to go in depth on that in this training tonight. I just wanted to mention that there are 2 types, soluble and insoluble, but they're both good for our kids, okay? So fiber is just that indigestible part of foods. Like when you eat popcorn, the little kernel part that gets stuck in your teeth, that's fiber. Goes in, comes out the same way. It's very helpful for bowel movements. Our kids can get stopped up, so we want to add more fiber. So here we go. You'll notice a lot of the foods that are listed here that are high in fiber are the same kind of foods we were talking about with protein, right? With carbohydrates, the whole grains, the bran, that's the outside layer of any whole grain. Nuts, seeds, vegetables, skins on fruit. Don't pull that off for your child. Let them eat it. It's good for them. Okay, so that's what we want to add fiber. The next thing is to focus on is vitamins. Specifically for our kids, these are vitamins that have been shown to be low. Please have your provider check before you do any kind of supplementation. We want to check their levels and get an accurate blood level check. But ones that we want to watch out for with our children is calcium, iron. If your kid has restless leg syndrome, you may want to be cognizant of their iron level. And then some B vitamins can be low for our kids. So there's possibility there that that could be hindering your child or affecting them. So we just want to make sure that we want to be getting them enough of those vitamins to support their brain function, to support their muscles working properly. And again, we want to make sure that we're doing this all with the knowledge of our doctor. But those vitamins, calcium, iron, B vitamins, guess what? They all come from those healthy foods that we just talked about. So you can get it, for your child can absorb it from foods, okay? And then the last one that's super important for our kids is water. Especially if we're increasing the fiber in our diet and in fiber in our diet of our children, we want to make sure that we're giving them enough water. I know sometimes our kids just want juice or milk. That's what they prefer. Please offer water. Offer water every time. Okay, water is very good for our children. It helps with temperature regulation. Our kids have trouble regulating their temperatures, right? We know this, that sometimes they can get really hot and overheat. Sometimes they get too cold and they can't warm back up. So water is very good at keeping them hydrated, helps with their temperature regulation. It also helps with muscle function, nutrient absorption, just like I talked about. There are some nutrients that can't be absorbed unless there's fat in the meal. There are some nutrients that can't be absorbed unless there's water. So we want to make sure we're getting enough. And then, of course, elimination, which is the goal, right? We want to get our kids eliminating. So plenty of water. That's a really good thing for our kids. So those are the 5 things you want to make sure your child is getting: protein, omega-3s, fiber, those key vitamins, and water. Okay, that's where you're going to start with your child. No one's overwhelmed, right? You can handle that. That's a short list. You're going to begin there. You'll notice a difference in your child, okay? This is Ben's story. When Ben was little, this was before he was diagnosed. I didn't know what was going on. He wasn't even on the chart. He was so small. We'd go in and he'd be like 3% below the growth chart. I'd be like, oh, I'm a dietitian. I should be able to figure this out. I don't know what's going on. Well, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know he was having trouble swallowing. I didn't know he was having trouble chewing, that he couldn't get all the nutrients he wanted. He was a very picky eater. I put him as a to-go kid. When he finally learned to walk, when he was 2 years old, and he was finally walking around the house, I would sit on the bottom stair, and as he would pass, I'd hand him a cheese stick and hope he'd take a bite. I'd hand him a cracker because he wouldn't sit down to eat. I didn't understand that his muscles couldn't support him sitting. So I just thought, this kid doesn't eat. I didn't realize it was a muscle issue. He had a very limited amount of foods that he would accept, and he had GI issues. Okay. And maybe your child's in the same boat, but this is Ben's story. Now that we've worked on his diet, guess what? He sits at the table, and I don't even have to tell him. If he's hungry, he goes and sits down at the table. It's amazing. It's incredible. He goes and he sits down and he waits patiently for food. He has a regular bowel movement. I know how important this is for your kids. When your child has a regular bowel movement, they feel better. They're able to pay better attention in school. You know that the food they're eating is healthy. It's helping things move through. This is really valuable. I know it's kind of weird to talk about, but we're going to talk about it. I'm a dietitian. I talk about poop. When our kids have a regular bowel movement, it's good. We want that, right? Ben has a happy mood. He's not hurting. When our kids are hurting, sometimes they don't know how to express it. And when you're hurting deep inside your gut, it's really hard to express that. So the happy mood tells me he's feeling good, right? And school has reported that he's more attentive. He's better able to attend to what's happening at school because he's getting all those good nutrients to his brain. His muscles are supported, his body's supported. I'm not telling you to do anything to your child that I haven't done to my own. And I've seen results. Okay, this is good. This is going to work for you. Let's get into how to do it. Planning a meal the easy way. If I told you that I have a method that makes it so you can plan a healthy meal every time, what kind of confidence would that give you? How amazing would that feel? You would say, I can do this, right? The stress of planning healthy meals, the stress of knowing that you're feeding your family well, gone. If you could do this healthy every time, okay? Here's the solution. I'm going to tell you, this is how you make healthy eating easy, okay? Tonight, I'm just going to give you a brief overview, but these are step-by-step process that you can follow, and you can do it. It's so easy, and you're going to have a healthy meal. Because my goal is not just to inspire you and say, oh, that's so great, maybe one day. No, we're going to change your life. We're going to change your life. You are going to start eating healthy now, okay? You can do this. And I'm here to help. This is a healthy plate. This is what it looks like. It's so easy. So easy. Notice I'm not telling you any foods you have to restrict. Okay? This is a plate. You divide it in half. You fill one half with fruits and vegetables. You don't even have to put that little line. Just fill that whole half of the plate with fruits and vegetables. Okay? The other side, you're going to put a whole grain in one quarter, and you're going to put a protein in the other quarter. One of those lean proteins that we talked about, right? A healthy protein. The dairy is there on the side because our kids do need calcium, but it doesn't have to be a glass of milk. It could be yogurt. It could be some ice cream. It could be some cheese. Okay? It doesn't have to be huge. And if your kid is lactose intolerant or dairy-free, guess what? That's okay. You can get calcium from other places, okay? The dairy is there mainly for the calcium. Here's why it works, because it's really simple. Remember, I said I'm going to make this so simple for you. You don't have to make this hard. Please, I know you're tempted to say like, but I heard this diet that said this. No. Simple. I'm keeping it so simple. You don't have time for any of that other nonsense, right? It works because we're adding the good stuff in. There are no restrictions. We're not restricting foods. Unless you have a medical reason why you have to restrict a food, we're not going to restrict anything, okay? We're just adding the good stuff in, okay? This method adds in some variety, so you get exposure to more nutrients, okay? It accounts for all the healthy choices that we talked about tonight, those 4 healthy choices. Remember, you committed to one. And it's very practical. You can use this in any situation, even when you're eating out. So let's do an example. I'm going to give you my dinner tonight. And then if we have a few minutes, I may call on a brave soul to share their dinner. Actually, should we just do that? Who's brave? Who wants to unmute and tell us what they had for dinner tonight, and let's make it healthy? Anybody? I'm holding my breath.
We'll go.
Okay. What did you have for dinner?
So we had an attempt at healthy using leftovers. But
Nice.
when I look at your diagram, it's very easy to see where we failed. So we had no, it's our protein was basically half of the plate. So that's where I think like our balance and mix is probably a bit off. So we had leftover kind of 1 pot chicken that had actually fruit and vegetable and beans in it. So I feel very proud of us. This was the brilliant chef right here, with rice. Yeah. And then like a tray of like roasted, pre-prepared grilled vegetables that like is like clutch from one of our local supermarkets. So it's like all there, you just throw it in the oven and kind of heat it. So I think for us, it was kind of the ratio maybe needs a little bit of improvement because it was half protein, I guess maybe quarter grain, quarter vegetable, and then no dairy.
Oh, and you said there was some fruit in there, right?
There was fruit, there was pineapple in the chicken, there were garbanzo beans, there were lots of vegetables, and then there was rice and chicken. So a little bit of everything, but again, wrong ratio, no dairy. So that I think we can correct.
We're not saying anything was wrong. We're not saying you failed. We're just adding the good stuff in. So what could you, and maybe somebody wants to tell us in the chat box, what could they add in to round it out? Sherry told us they got the protein. That was covered, right? Protein's covered. Beans and chicken. Vegetables, covered. There was a little bit of fruit, she said, right? And a little bit of whole grain. You said it was a whole grain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, whole grain. So what are we going to do? What can we add? Who has an idea? What can we add in to make this healthy? Tell me in the chat box, or you can unmute. I don't mind if you unmute. You know the answer. Nobody's going to say? Okay, I'll say. So she could
say, sorry.
Megan, go ahead.
I couldn't find my mute button. I would say, like, she already mentioned adding a little bit of dairy, like a glass of milk or almond milk, or, well, does almond milk have?
Soy milk would have more.
Or my favorite would be ice cream.
Dessert. I like it. Yes, you could totally add in dessert, right? A fruit yogurt. Yeah. Fruit and yogurt, right? That's a great idea. I love it. See how easy that was to make it healthy? Like you were saying you failed. You didn't fail. You could still get off this call and go have dessert. Done. Okay, thank you for being so brave. I really appreciate it. This is like my favorite thing to do when I do these calls is put somebody on the hot seat and say, let's see what you had for dinner. It's so fun. I'll tell you what I had for dinner tonight. So it's me and the kids tonight. Mark is out for the evening. So my kids, they just want to eat something fast, right? And they had this coming up. So we had quesadillas. Here's how I made it healthy. Are you ready? Because quesadillas, you think flour, tortilla, cheese, right? Every kid eats that. Here's how I make it healthy. I use a whole grain tortilla. So there I've got my whole grain, right? I actually used whole wheat is what we used tonight. And then I put cheese on it. But guess what? I had made a big pot of beans earlier in the week of refried beans. I like to do them homemade. No shame on you if you just buy them at the store. It's totally fine. But I made a big pot of them. So I had some leftovers. So I spread beans on the tortilla, sprinkled the cheese on top, Then I put another tortilla and I heated it up until it was nice and melty, right? Then what else do I need? So far, I've only got my protein and my whole grain. I need fruits and vegetables, right? I cut up some apples. I did not make this hard. I cut up some apples for our fruit, and I cut up enough that we each had a good portion of apples. And then for our vegetables, I cut up tomatoes and avocados. So the avocados also added in that healthy fat, right? And then the cheese counts as my dairy. Do you see how I did that? So easy, right? And this is not fancy. This is not fancy food, but it's healthy food. It's nourishing food. It's good food. And you can do this with any meal, even if you're eating out. Did you know that if you eat out, let's pick Chick-fil-A. Let's say you go to Chick-fil-A. Did you know that you can request a multigrain bun? They'll give it to you. So easy. It's one request. That's one healthy choice you made. And let's say, so you get the chicken sandwich. You got your protein, you got your whole grain bun. You can add a side salad. They offer those. And then they add a fruit cup. Ta-da! So easy, right? Then you top it off with a milkshake. I'm just teasing. But you can do it when you're eating out. You can totally do this. You visualize the plate in your head and you say, okay, have I got half fruits and vegetables? Have I got my protein? Have I got my whole grain? Check, check, check. It's so easy. It is so easy. The truth is, many people think eating healthy is hard. It's too confusing. It's time consuming. I can't do it because I just don't know what to do, right? They don't feel confident, but that's not true. You need to shift your focus. When you shift your beliefs and you understand that taking care of yourself is really how you serve your child, then you can see this, it changes the way you approach the whole thing. And now you can say, this is easy. I just use that plate method. It's really easy. So change your focus, okay? Think about it. Oh, down here. Sorry, I didn't see this. If you're avoiding gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, processed food, just real food, yeah, you could do that. If you're avoiding, guess what? There are whole wheat options that don't have any gluten in them. You could totally do that. Dairy, sugar, soy, anything processed. I hope that you're doing that with somebody, right? They're helping you do that. Because that can be tricky for our kids. But as long as if you've got somebody helping you to do it, yeah, you can totally do that and still be healthy. It's fine. And guess what? Processed foods, I mean, I know they get a bad rap in the media, but sometimes they're just what you need. Okay? Guess what? Food can nourish us. But if we are talking about being healthy, there are some times when your mental health, you need an Oreo. There are some days that it is really bad and you need a comfort food. And guess what? That's taking care of your mental health. You cannot be so hard on yourself, okay? I want you to realize that your mental health is just as important as your physical health, okay? Especially as a parent of a child with PMS. You carry so much already. It can get really, really heavy, and you've got to take care of yourself, okay? So that's a noble thing to avoid processed foods, but please know they're not all bad. And sometimes they're just exactly what you need. Sometimes they're just what you need. There's nothing wrong with that. So my friend Teresa, she's been working with me on planning meals. She said she was really struggling with how to figure out what to feed the family. So she wrote me this email. Says, I'm happy to let you know I plan our meals each week. We enjoy the predictability it allows, and it helps us remember some of the unusual meals. You know how sometimes you're like, you finally make that tortellini soup that you made 2 years ago and you eat it and you're like, man, this is good. Why is this not in my regular rotation? I love this. Planning your meals helps you to see, oh yeah, these are these foods that are actually really easy to make that my whole family likes. And she said meal planning has been helpful for knowing when to get things out of the freezer. And when she goes shopping, it's made it super easy. Okay, these are tips and tools that I provide that have made it really easy for her to make meal planning effortless, healthy meal planning. Okay, you see this picture here of these cute little ducks? These are brown ducks. Do you see the mom and the dad are out in the front there? And all the little ducklings are following along. It's cute, right? You've seen a duck cross the road before, right? The mama duck gets out to the edge of the road and she looks, and when she commits and she says, we're going, she just takes off. Does she push all the little kids first? No. She goes and the kids follow. That's how it works, right? Those little ducklings, you've seen this. I know you've seen this. I want you to think about that. Think about you for just a minute, okay? Because when we think about our children and how much they need from us, when your needs are met, when you make a commitment to take care of yourself, when that mama duck checks and makes sure that it is safe to cross the road for herself first, it's so much easier to take care of everybody else, right? Imagine how much you could benefit your family and how much you could do for them if you were already taken care of and you just gave to them from your excess, instead of on the fumes that you're on because you're eating leftover fries and drinking Coke, not showing up like you want to, like I was. Instead of that, what if you're nourished? What if you're healthy? What if you feel good and you're able to really give to your family from your excess? What does that feel like? Connect with that. How would your life be different if you really took care of yourself? You could take better care of your child. You had energy, better health, more time. What could you do? What would be possible for you? What would be possible for your child in their child's life, okay? I want you to say yes tonight. I want you to make that commitment to being healthy, to taking care of you. Because when you start eating healthy, your family will naturally follow. Like I said, I took care of myself first, and changing how I ate changed how the whole family ate. When I made that commitment and I said, I can do this, I can take better care of myself, then it trickled out to our whole family. But it had to start with me. It has to start with you. You have to take care of yourself. Okay, tonight we went over these things. Hopefully it wasn't too fast for you. I know I talk fast, but we talked about the basics of healthy eating, healthy choices you can start making now. And remember, you made a commitment to one. We talked about tips for how to plan a healthy meal and went over the plate method real quick. So here are your action steps as you leave this class tonight. 3 things I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to start small and add in the good stuff, especially those things that we talked about for your child. Remember, protein, omega-3s, fiber, minerals, vitamins and minerals, and water. Okay, start there for your child. Start small for you. Remember that one healthy choice that you committed to. Start with it. If you haven't had dinner yet tonight, start tonight. If not, start with your breakfast tomorrow, but start now with that one small choice that you can make. And use the plate method going forward to plan your meals, okay? Visualize it in your head so that you can plan those meals. Okay, I told you I'd make an offer to work together, so here we go. There are 3 ways you can work with me. The first one is one-on-one nutrition coaching. This is my very high-end premier offer. It's very high touch. It's where I work with you directly one-on-one. We talk about your own unique circumstances and how you can work with me. Carmen is going to put the link in the chat box in case you want to go ahead and click on it right now. But this is to apply for one-on-one coaching. You go to this link, you put in the application, and then we can talk and discuss, well, if I can be a good fit for you and your family. Of course, I would love to help you. But this, like I said, this is a high touch, I'll hold your hand through it. I'll guide you through. Okay. That's what that program is for your unique nutrition concerns and goals. Second way we can work together is I actually have some meal planning and menu planning templates available that you can use to plan meals for your family using the same tools that I use. Okay, and they help you to plan a healthy meal really quickly. So this one does have a cost associated with it. Carmen will put the link for that in the chat box as well. But meal planning templates, it's a do-it-yourself. You plug in the things for your family and then you're set. Okay, this is a digital-only copy. The hard copy, because I know some people like me, I really love paper. Hard copy is coming out soon. It is not yet. So far, it is just a digital copy, but they're very valuable. And this is what I use in my own life because it's a digital copy and I can take it with me when I go to the grocery store. So that's the meal planning templates. It's kind of a basic, get you started. Now, if you don't already have my meal planning guide, this is free. This is a free guide you can download, and it teaches you how to use that plate method in really simple steps so that it just walks you through step by step how to use the plate method to plan any meal, make it healthy. And that is a free guide, so there's no cost associated with that. And the link for that will also be in the chat box. She should have all my links in there. So you can click on any of those and get what you need, okay? That's how you can work with me in the future. Of course, if you are not ready to work with me or you don't want to right now, that's totally fine. It's also, you can connect with me because guess what? On Instagram, I talk nutrition almost as much as I talk about Ben. I love nutrition. I could talk about it all day, as you can see, because we are almost to the hour and I have talked nonstop for a whole hour. So Instagram is a great place to connect with me. I'm not quite as active on Facebook, but on Instagram, I give away tons of tips and tricks on there pretty much every day, 5 days a week. You can always email me. That's my direct email to me, and I will answer them, I promise. If you have any questions or concerns, or you have something that you feel like this is unique to your family that you want addressed, please email me. I do have a website as well where you can get links to any of my free guides, or access to the application to apply for the one-on-one coaching if you, decide you want to do that a little later. Okay. I hope that you had a great time tonight. I had a fantastic time. I would love to hear from you. Tomorrow, you're going to be getting an email from me with a survey to fill out about how you felt about the class tonight. This is really helpful for me, because then I know what I can do in the future to become better, and other things that you would be interested in that I could offer, because I'm a mama just like you. And dads, I'm a parent just like you. And I'm here to help you. Okay. I'm using my education, the things that I have learned, and my degree to offer these services, because I feel like I can understand you. I know where you've been. I've been there myself, and I want to help. So please fill out that survey. It will help me know what to offer next. And yeah, any questions?
I guess, how do we even start getting into her body? like I know how to make it, I can do it. It's just getting her to do it.
You mean getting her to eat?
Yeah, she was a great eater. When she was little, had a major regression, and now we're kind of stuck in this loop of things that she'll eat. And now she won't even eat the things that we're eating, things that she likes and, are used to like, or likes at a restaurant, but won't eat at home. So I know that's more behavioral, but how can we kind of like sneak these items into her meals where they become the meal eventually?
I understand. Yeah. So it sounds to me, there's a couple, okay, just off the cuff here, again, follow your medical provider. This is my, hi, I'm meeting you on Zoom in front of everybody.
Right. Our medical dietitian thinks she's fine and that she's eating enough variety for a child with autism and PMS. And I don't agree. So,
okay. So here's what when you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is if she's dropping preferred foods, there could be something going on inside that she doesn't feel good. This could be as simple as her tonsils are large and she's not able to swallow well. This could be maybe she has a little bit of an infection. Maybe she was exposed to the virus and she's not feeling her best. Okay. Especially if it's recent, if you've noticed it like recently, that would be my first thought is let's check and make sure that she's feeling well, that everything is working properly. The second thing I would think is she getting enough fiber? Because a lot of times if our kids are backed up, they don't want to eat. Because if you know that feeling when you eat too much and you're really uncomfortable, they don't want to eat more because then it makes it more uncomfortable. So if they're refusing foods she normally would have, that's my second theory. And like you said, it could be behavioral, but I would check those two things first. And then there are several tactics you can use to reintroduce foods, to see if it's a sensory issue, different things like that, just to and it could be a control issue, right? She could be to that phase where she's independent, and this is her way of communicating, I got to be in charge of this. So there's a lot that could be going on.
Yeah, it's full blown kind of like that toddler phase of like, well, obviously chicken nuggets are better than, the green beans that you've offered me. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. And so that it could be an independent streak coming out in her. So if you want to email me some specifics, I'm happy to look over it and give you some more targeted advice. But right off the bat, that's what I would say is to check and make sure she's feeling well, check her bowels and make sure that they are moving like they should and that she's not having any pain anywhere. And then go into the sensory and independent kind of to see if that's where it's coming from.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, the meal planning guide thing doesn't work. Uh-oh. The one that was in the chat box? The free one, right?
Sorry, I just posted the other one. So the one that I posted second should work. I just tried it. So hopefully. I think I sent it only to Angelica. Sorry, I'll put it on right now. Sorry, technical difficulties, right? Okay. Try this one. It should work. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, good. Anything else? This has been so fun. I have got to say, it's 9:01. I kept it to my hour. It's been lovely to see your faces. I hope this has been valuable for you. Like I said, keep that commitment to yourself. Okay, that's where it starts. That's where it starts. And once you make that commitment to yourself, you're going to see the health of your entire family improve, because you deserve to be taken care of too, just as much as your child does. Okay. I hope you know that. Sending you lots of love. I hope that you have a great week. If you need anything else, please reach out to me. It has been my honor to be here with you tonight. And I hope that you have a great week.